Morning, people. Morning.
Good morning.
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 This is
As they say in Jamaica,
morning. Coach and counselor will be on in about 2-3 minutes. Start calling your friends, getting the word out about us. All glory to God, and we're just gonna do our thing as I wipe the sleep from my eyes. Yeah, it was hard to get up this morning. But we're here.
That's because you were laying next to me.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to leave because she's a nice big pillow in so many ways. Yes, sir.
And he's a big colorer.
Yes, I like the color. When it's cold, like ice melts in our room, so I have no choice. I have no choice.
Well, maybe that's my secret.
Yeah. You purposely do that.
So you have the right strokes of anonymity, wide
Yes, ma'am.
battering kills.
Yes, ma'am.
Wide battery.
Kills.
Yeah.
Strokes of
enemy,
anonymity.
wide battery kill.
Yeah.
We are live on
YouTube.
YouTube. Yep.
My people.
All right, people, we want to go. We're going to go. My beautiful wife here. We got Milton today. We got the head honcho here today. So he's here to put us back. He got us here to put us back in line.
Say what's good.
Yes,
What's good, no
respect. You know what
Yo, he's behind the team no more. Let's see a little bit.
I
Yeah. He said, all right. He said, get off of me, girl. Get that night, girl. Get off of me. All right, I think we're ready. Poppy, I need you to sit here. Poppy, can you sit? No, because you're loud already.
All right. Well, thank you.
The sound of peace and love is coming.
In the spirit of the many contributions which have been made by African Americans,
I'm not in your camera.
features moments in Black history. This is a wonderful opportunity for the community to demonstrate its appreciation for these notable events and achievements by African Americans. Your service is an inspiration.
That's fine. It's fine. I didn't move it.
I can't hear anything. I mean, I hear that, but I don't hear it here.
You don't hear it? No.
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 Now I hear it. Yes.
All right. When the mic comes on, it's coming off the ear.
Got it.
Hi guys, welcome to a new segment. Hope you guys are well.
Get ready. Get
What?
ready.
What's up? What?
Get ready for something to go around.
I don't hear it.
Say, it's coming on soon.
Well, I hear us talking, but I don't hear it in here. I don't know. When you press that button before, I heard it.
Yeah, let me see. Where you plugging?
I heard the noise, but I don't hear it.
Where you plugging this one?
NBA workforce for
Yeah.
offers opportunities for creating the
Do you hear it?
No, I'm here.
He doesn't hear it.
physical
I
website
don't know.
at
Now.
Okay.
www.mba workforce.
You used to hear that. Do you, He doesn't hear it, no.
That's all right, that's all right.
No, you need to hear it, babe.
I'm fine.
No, because you need to know how loud you are in my
When
ear.
you hear the when your promo comes in, you
Okay.
Yes, every phrase is to our God.
It's 8:03. Hello? We're not on, we're not on.
no, not yet.
Oh,
No.
Copy me over this way. You're not on my
And we are Gospel Live Radio.
copy me over some more.
Radio 100.8, the sound of peace and love. Every Saturday, 10 to 1.
Hi, guys.
We play gospel music, praise and worship, prayer, inspiration, and illumination in the Word of God. Remember, in the end,
Get ready to go, people. Get ready to go.
Huh?
No.
remember, every praise is to our God.
Julie said technology difficulties. I think everybody's ready to, because we should have been on 4 minutes.
Inspiration, motivation, and empowerment all you need for sound of peace and love. Join the coach and the counselor every Saturday morning, 8 to 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Radio 1400.am.
The coach and the counselor join us again for courageous conversations, relationship talks, comedy, hearts work, and meditation.
That's the coach and the counselor every Saturday morning, 8 to 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Radio 1400.am.
Welcome back to another segment of The Coach.
And the counselor.
Today we are going to go in a little bit into strokes of an enemy. Why battering kills.
Yes,
Are you your own enemy?
that's good.
Yeah. So let's go into that a little bit.
Okay.
About striking back repeatedly with hard blows. How does that?
So there is nothing, just giving the statistics, suicide kills more than murder. And suicide is worse because you're doing it to yourself. Well, it's not just physical suicide, it's mental suicide, it's emotional suicide, where you take the point of not only the victim, but also the person who's committing the crime. And what people have to do is that, you know what? I expect enemies outside of me, all right? I expect people, I expect my haters and stuff like that. But one thing that I really want you to understand from this podcast today, I will not become my own enemy. I will not do that to myself.
What does battering do to a person when they begin to batter
Oh,
themselves? Let's just go into battering, like what that is.
Yeah. When you batter yourself, you are in self-pity.
I can't do this. I hate myself.
Yes, my all that.
I don't want to do it. Give up.
And then Captain Water goes to my lovely wife. Yes, all those things
I
happen.
don't like you because I don't like me today.
And that's a good point, because if you don't like yourself, you can't like anybody else. And a lot of people are blaming their spouse, or blaming their relatives, or blaming their mates, or blaming their friends, when that's not the person to blame. It's you, because you are destroying yourself. Because the glasses that you see out of are so dirty, are so destructive, are so battering, that everyone around you, it seems like they're battering you, but actually you're battering yourself.
So what is exactly is battering from your counseling point of view?
Yeah, the battering is when you just always have this fatal mentality. You have this mentality that says, I can't do nothing well, I can't do nothing, and then the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So as a man, so if I think I'm a failure, if I'm battering myself, if I'm beating myself up, then that's what I'm going to do everything else. And the battering, Coach Porter, comes from a childhood of, especially of a mother and father, never encouraged you, they always was negative, they always beating you up, or you were the whipping boy, the whipping girl, then that's your mind frame as an adult right now.
So are you saying that battering comes from looking out our perspectives, what we're looking at from our surroundings?
No, battering really comes from as a child, the sponge, because a child is a sponge,
Sure.
right? So if a parent or someone, a major influence is constantly being negative
Sure.
and constantly saying you're no good and constantly not encouraging you, then you're gonna grow up feeling, okay, maybe I'm not that good and I'm not confident. And so then that starts to self-battering right there.
So everything always begins
Oh, yeah.
at home.
Oh yeah,
Everything
yeah.
begins at home.
oh yeah.
So that battering, when it comes to personal, like the self, the being,
Yeah,
striking repeatedly, like when you strike yourself repeatedly,
you're gonna be wounds. I mean, you strike yourself with anger, you strike yourself with no one loves me, you strike yourself, I'm ugly, I mean, there's no positive affirmation, all right? So the way to get out of that is that you give yourself constant positive affirmations. I mean, I dealt with this, where I didn't look at myself in the mirror a lot because I thought I was ugly and wasn't handsome. That's my former life. But now that I'm with my lovely wife, I can see that.
so let's go into that.
Yes.
So your former life,
Yes.
what brought battering on for you? Like what was that?
For me, it was not getting what I thought I needed. All right. So yes, I accomplished a lot, oh glory to God. But there was something within me as a child, because I was whipped a lot. I was bad, but I was whipped a lot.
So whipping by your parents?
Whipping by my parents, whipping by the church mothers, whipping by the church deacon, whipping by the pastors. I was whipped a lot.
Physically whipping or like battering, as in words? Because
I'm sorry.
battering comes in several different ways.
Exactly, several ways. But the whippings I got back in the day, they were abuse. It was abuse. But again, because of that constant. All right. So one thing I got right with my kids in my first marriage is that after they received the punishment, I always brought them back and says, "Daddy loves you. You're not a bad person. What you did was not good, but that doesn't mean." And I did that to them because that's what I didn't get as a child. So that's one way of knowing that you're healing and not battering yourself, because what you went through, you're not making sure people don't go through themselves. And that's why the cycle will not continue if you make that change.
Wow. So Google's definition, we can't even go back to Webster. I don't even know whatever happened to the Webster dictionary.
Webster gone. Webster hijacked by Google. You can't say that no more. You say that, you can't say that no more. I'm in charge.
Google batter Webster. We're probably gonna get banned.
Yeah. Would you say that Google?
So the Google definition of batter or battering is striking repeatedly
That's good.
with hard blows.
That's good. That's good. And not light blow.
That.
Yeah. You're striking with hard. You're really telling yourself that you're no good. Now let's take that largely. If you are denying yourself, then you're making yourself lower than you should be automatically. Because if you don't like you, come on, follow the logic. If you don't like you, you're not gonna like anybody around you, because you don't like you. It starts with you. Does that make sense? Does that make sense at all?
So the striking repeatedly,
Yeah.
and I want to go into the hard blows part.
Let's go.
So, and that's not sexually.
No.
All right. So the striking repeatedly.
Yeah, you're striking repeatedly every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. An example of battery:
Sure.
you never celebrate your birthday. You don't want anyone to know about your birthday. You just real quiet about it. Why? Because you don't want to celebrate you. You don't want to celebrate who you are. What you
Let's
are.
just sit in that.
Yeah. You don't want to celebrate you because you have beat yourself up so much. Yourself says to you, "Why are you celebrating you? Why are you living? Why are you around? No one cares about you."
And there's a part of me wondering if someone is saying to themselves, I don't want to celebrate my years of existence
Bam.
because I don't feel like I'm being here, I'm present,
Oh,
I'm in
you're
the
going
moment.
deep, girl. You're going deep.
Oh, I never looked at that perspective of people not wanting to celebrate themselves. And you know what? Celebration doesn't have to be a loud
No, no.
aspect.
No.
Because I'm a person, I like
No.
quiet aspect
Right.
because I'm around and I'm partying all the time.
But when you tell people, I don't want to do nothing on my birthday, you don't tell nobody about your birthday, you just into this thing, you are battered. You are. So police talk about battery, which is a very true thing, but the self-battery is worse, which leads to the suicide, which leads to, well, since I don't know, I feel about it now, baby. When you have that consistency of being yourself up, you're telling yourself, why am I here? So I don't like why I'm here. So then, God forbid, they went to that next level of taking themselves out.
Sure, so let's go into the hard blows, that part,
Yeah.
that one
Yeah.
that does that
Yeah.
to the person. Because why is it not soft blows?
No. Because you really don't like yourself. The hard blows is really indicative of how much you don't like yourself. The hard blow. See, if it was a soft blow, then okay, I like myself a little
So,
bit now.
so just give me an example of a hard blow, and we're gonna wrap this up in 2
Hard
minutes.
blow is you constantly not giving credit for yourself and what you do. It's constantly not doing self-love. It's definitely killing the first date. I don't like you. Wait, you just met me. I don't like. Why? Because you don't like yourself. So all these things are happening continually. Oh my God. And the church is great at battery training because we go so much into the guilt. That's been deep on someone. Because it's such a guilt religion. If you're not careful, you will go right into the battery because I'm no good, no one loves me, no one around me. And so that continues in that wrong vein on a regular basis.
So I'm going to push this out into the universe,
Yes, go.
into Radio Land. When we constantly batter ourselves, strokes of the enemy, this is the question, are you an enemy of yourself? Because battering, it does several things, and we'll talk about it in the next segment. But battering is outside of spiritual conduct.
Great.
And I want you guys to sit on that
That's good.
until we return.
I am
You went
Coach
deep?
Portia.
My wife went deep, y'all.
We are the coach
My
and
wife
the
went deep,
counselor.
y'all.
Unburdened.
She did a submarine on us. She did a submarine on us.
Coaching with unburdening meditations.
and counseling and mentorship for individual and family. Call us 475-242-8179. That's
I never say. That's my wife.
475-242-8179.
Put it out there. I'm sucking. Put it out there, girl.
Husband and
Put it out there.
The coach.
and the counselor.
Welcome back. So we were giving a lot and talking about strokes of an enemy and why battering kills. Are you your own enemy? Because we're bringing this more to the self and not outside of the universe that you are in, which is you
Right.
and your parts.
Right. Because the thing about it, you are always with you. You are always with
So
you.
let's rest in that for a moment.
You're always with you. So if you don't like you, you're always carrying that hatred of you.
I once heard someone say, people treat you according to how you
That's
treat
correct.
yourself.
That's correct. All right. That is a very powerful point. Okay, we're getting deep here because I feel the anointing right now. When you are hating you, it's like a time bomb that's going to eventually go off. And that's something that the enemy does very well because he doesn't want you to enjoy you. He wants you to focus on the negative and focus on the abuse and focus on the pain and focus on the negativity. And the more you focus on that, the more you will batter yourself.
So let's talk about why battering the striking
Sure.
repeatedly with hard blows
Sure.
against the self,
Sure,
the
sure.
being,
Okay,
why that's outside of spiritual confidence.
it's definitely outside because that's not what God wants. Everything that God created is good. All right. So Genesis chapter 1, when God created, He said, "This is good."
That's the-
So when you say bad, you are going against God's word. You are going against what God has spoken. God has spoken you good. God has spoken you something great. So when you're speaking bad, you're going against what God said for you.
And that's outside of the spiritual law,
That's
the
correct.
spiritual conduct
That's right.
of who we truly are at our core. So battering does several things, and we want to put that out. Battering suffocates. It destroys, and it destroys character. It destroys our vision, depth perception.
Right.
Do you want to go into a little bit about vision and how it wipes out when we're battered and when we're being battered and when we're battering ourselves, how it wipes out our vision?
Let me go deeper, because there's some very successful people right now who listen to us. You're millionaires. You're successful, but you still hate yourself. How can I tell? You're lonely. You're not in a relationship. Or you are in a relationship, you make everyone around you at home so destructive. Why? Because you hate yourself. Yes, you are successful. Yes, you have the BMW. Yes, you have the Mercedes. Yes, you have the cars and the house and vacation. But you don't like yourself.
So I want to take it even a step
Let's go.
further down this path of battering. Battering is not only because, from my perspective as a coach, people actually like themselves. But because they like themselves so much, they begin to batter themselves as like being in what do you call this?
Fight.
Perfection.
Yeah.
And so they batter
That's
themselves
a good
when
point.
they don't come up to their own standards,
That's a good point. So
let
they-
alone the standards
That's
of
good.
others.
That's good.
And so they begin to batter. I've seen people rip their skin off.
Well, all right. So we all heard people who are cutters, all right? So they cut themselves, especially when they're stressed or whatever, because that brings pain, and for a split period of time, they are diverting their focus from this to that. That's why they cut themselves. Well, that battering is doing the same thing. Instead of me focusing on what is good about me, I'm going to cut myself. I'm going to hurt myself. I'm going to self-deprive myself. I'm going to go into self-pity because I really don't want to go to the next level. And the perfection is like, you know what? I got to be this perfect persona. Well, sweetheart, there's only one perfect person. That's God. All right. So he was right there. You and I, we're working our way up. But as I said in the opening statement here, let's not be guilty of giving yourself a knife or gun to inflict pain upon yourself.
That's a whole nother topic because I'm thinking of Sandy Hook and I'm
Yes,
thinking of.
and I was there, Sandy.
I know you, yes, as a first responder,
Yes.
chaplain
Yes,
of
I was
that
there.
area,
Yes, ma'am.
it was a real venue, a real thing.
It was a real venue. The people, who saw their children, they sent their children to school. They come back, and now they're putting their children into coffins. But see, that point is the battery of Adam, or the person who perpetrated the crime. There was an issue within him that caused him to go to a school that he went to only for 2 or 3 years, and he went back and caused that. So listen, so the battery, if you're not careful, it will go out and hurt others.
Right, well,
That's
is
the point. That's the
Right,
point.
because what happens is when we don't have depth perception, a
That's it.
3D way of looking at things,
That's it.
when that begins to cease, to no sight, it brings about cloudiness. Cloudiness brings about a closed doors, and when we have closed doors, we have no vision. And where there is no vision,
People perish.
people perish.
When you are in a fog,
Am I not in the Bible,
girl,
sir?
you need to-
I know you go to church, guys.
I better bring you on. That's my wife, y'all. Okay, that's my wife. I was talking to her. But when you are in a fog, you don't see correctly.
Yes.
When you're in a fog, you will hit everything because you are not seeing perception. So the word you just used about perception, the same thing you're doing with yourself. With self-battery, you are not seeing, you're in a fog. So you are not going to see things as they should be seen. So that's why one of the most famous miracles that Jesus did was healing the blind. But people who are battering themselves, they're blind mentally. They're blind emotionally.
And that's why we ask, are you your own enemy?
That's right.
We always look outside of us.
That's all the time.
We always look outside of
Oh,
us.
this person might be around.
Are you battering yourself?
Right, exactly. Because when you batter yourself, you will always have a negative perception to that. So let's go deeper. Sometimes the people who are saying, oh, people don't like me, it's not that people don't like you. You don't like you. So a lot of the people hear me like that. The perception you guys have is not from what people are doing to you, it's what you're doing to yourself.
So before we go into what battering does, and we're gonna breathe, guys.
Oh, this is good.
because we have
We
to
went
invite-
deep.
We have to
We-
invite some
we went
amazing
deep.
things in our system.
We did that, girl.
So in Radio Land, our live audience, someone said, this is like me, but it comes from past issues, relationship, whether with a partner or friendship. I went through this and sadly, I still go through this now.
This is
It
a
is
subject.
stressful and extremely depressing. We have another one from Radio Land that says, celebrate you. Spill some love out on yourself. This is good this morning, folks. Thank you. Thank you.
How do you
You
make
have
that
to
change?
spill your love on
You
yourself.
have to. You have to.
Instead of battering,
Right.
we have to place that battering with joyful essence to the being. So I'm going to go through a little bit about what battering does. The biggest thing and the biggest enemy of the human race is destroying the body.
Correct.
Battering kills. You know, I'm a very pro-black woman,
Yes.
dreaded,
Yes, you are.
all of that.
Yes, you are.
Black Lives Matter, no. You, the body,
Yeah.
the spiritual
Yes.
body
Right.
matters.
Right.
Because when we begin to batter ourselves, we begin to close off ourselves from the world, which is one of the most important facts of the enemy. Yes, sir.
And by doing that, you stop the healing process.
That's it.
All right. So
It just shuts
our
down.
bodies, if everything's working well, your white blood cells are there to take care of diseases within or pathogens in the Bible. I mean, in your body. But if you are constantly battering yourself, you are not allowing the healing. And that's why so many people, and this will be controversial, some people are overweight. You know why? You don't love yourself. You don't really take care of your body. And once you start loving yourself, then you'll start doing what needs to be done to make sure you're not going to the doctor with diabetes and sugar. Sugar, black people still diabetes. It's still bad. You're trying to change that. It's still bad. But again, it's understanding who you are and loving yourself. That's why don't let anybody guilt you. That's one thing the church has done wrong, especially the Pentecostal church. They guilt you into you are that and that. Oh, I'm on it. And that battery is not going to help you get to the next level.
So destroying the body.
Yeah.
Without the body, we forget to breathe.
Correct.
And without breath, we die. Naturally, and more so spiritually. So we've said a lot in this conversation.
Yes, I really think it's time to slow it down and breathe.
We've said a lot in strokes of the enemy. The question is, are you your own enemy? What part of you is battering yourself? We want to get to know that one, because that one houses a lot of information for you, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of guidance. The one that batters, there's a fear deep within that one that says, I need to be heard, I need to be witnessed, I need to be fully seen, I need to be unburdened, and I need to let go. Because that part that batters is weary. So ask the one that batters. I'm curious to know, how old are you? How old is part that is battering, destroying the body, destroying the breath within. How old is that one? And if there's an answer, how is that? Let's take a deep look at that number. Because that one needs to be looked at, fully seen, and fully unburdened. For the sake of time, we don't have time to fully unburden that one in this moment, but we ask the part that begins to batter ourselves, that part that wants to be in the line of perfection, that part that good is just not enough. First of all, that part is out of alignment. That part has to soften back. You are in authority of the one that batters. Ask that one to soften back in this moment and get into alignment until you can visit Coach Portia to receive someone burdening with that one, taking a deeper dive, a deeper look into it. And in this moment, ask any part of you that needs to begin to just release itself from the one that batters. Ask it to begin to show itself. Yes, counselor.
The key word you said that's so powerful, weary. So many people listening right now, they are weary.
Sure.
They've been in this cycle for such a long time that they have accepted it. They have accepted the battery. They have accepted being weary. They have accepted not liking themselves. And this podcast today is saying to you, start loving who you are.
So I'm going to jump in mentoring mode in this moment about that part, about that weary one. That one is tired. It's tired of battering you. It's tired of feeling the weight of that batter.
Right.
Because there's one that batters and there's one that carries the weight of that batter. That's it's sort of how
Yes.
parts work.
Exactly.
So one drives one to the other. And once we begin to look at that foundation of where that part started, we begin to unburden that one. We begin to allow it to dissipate and undo its job.
Mhm.
Because the job it has, let that one know that it doesn't have to do its job anymore.
And the problem is that because there's a counteracting, instead of bringing you higher, it brings you lower.
Yes, it sinks us, it suffocates us.
Exactly. And what we're trying to tell you is that a lot of times the blame you're putting on others, it's you. It's you understanding, let me stop loving me, because again, God said, I am good.
Yes.
All your life you heard, I am bad, you're worthless, I never wanted you, I wanted to abort you. Oh, you don't understand how that echoes into you.
Yes, and so the part that matters, remember that it's not the entire you. It's not the entire portion. It's not the entire Tim, coach, and the counselor. It's not the entire part.
Correct.
It's a part of the person. It's a part. So once we begin to see that as a part and not as the full being, we can begin to give that part, give it a redo, give it a do-over.
Pep talk, you can do this.
Yeah. And let that one know that you are in authority of it, and we will no longer batter. So we're just going to take about 20 seconds to breathe, and we're going to release the one that's weary. We're going to ask that part of batters to soften back until we can sit before someone who truly understands that one part and help us navigate within ourselves to get to the root of that one. And we're going to already begin to invite some jovial matter, some life, some breath into our beings in this moment. And it may sound something like, I invite life into my being in this moment. I invite breath into my being in this moment. one that matters, that weary one. We give it and put it in a safe place until we can return to it again. And for some, it may want to already begin to unburden itself into the air, the water, the sun, the sky, the atmosphere, wherever it wants to go. Allow it to begin to release itself. And the most important part is to begin to invite freedom to be who you truly are at your core.
This is the time people to really breathe and say, I'm free.
Yes.
This time, you're not saying free from the ex, or free from a baby mama, or free from a hurt, but free from hurting yourself.
Yes. And with that, we'll see you in the next segment.
Next Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8:30.
Eastern Standard Time.
Peace and satisfaction. Peace. My baby knocked it out of the park, y'all.
Yeah, when you were talking about loving yourself, I would do right on the note that you have to start with self. That, I mean, that's what I'm thinking about.
Sure.
Somebody applies to
Sure.
So, yeah.
My baby hit it out of the park, people. I hope you
Yes.
enjoyed Coach Portia. She went deep today. Coach Portia went deep today. And don't beat yourself up. Don't self-batter yourself.
Yes.
My baby did well.
So we have someone else. Do you want to go on this camera?
Okay.
I just want to show who you are. So this is the man himself. Normally we have Errol Johnson with us. This is the man himself, Mr. Milford.
Peace and love.
So what
Yes,
did you
indeed.
think of the show today? Like what he was taking notes, guys. Look at his notepad. He was taking his notes. OMG.
No, I just thought that was a very good, topic in terms of the way you work through it. It's important for folks to understand they have to love themselves.
Yes.
And when we talk about Black Lives Matter, I saw you went on that tangent for a moment.
Mhm.
But I would say to myself, if I love myself, then I matter.
Yes.
So I matter first, and then everything else matters after.
That's correct.
Exactly.
That's correct.
So that's what I was picking up, and I said, wow, I hope that people are getting that message, and that's what I was getting from what you're saying. Plus
Yes.
all the other stuff, but I think that to me hit it home, because our communities are suffering in that way.
Big time.
Yes.
And you talk about
Yes.
battering, and then there's the mental battering, the physical
I think
battering.
there's a part 2 for that one.
Yeah.
So
This
that-
was yeah.
That was a wonderful, it was a deep, insightful topic that you guys selected for this morning.
Thank you. We bless you. We bless you, man.
Thank you.
We bless you, Mr. Milford. We
Peace
love
and
you,
love.
man. The man behind the hour. He's the man behind the hour.
Yeah, he's the head Negro in charge. Yeah. He's the head Negro in charge. So for him to say that means nothing.
Let's bring that word back because they say, a lot of my white girlfriends, they say, we can't say black, and I'm like, I grew up in this era, okay, I'm 51 years old, and if we get rid of black, then I don't know what we have.
So, yeah.
So, Poppy, do you want to say anything to
I hope you guys
listeners?
enjoyed it. We may do a part 2 on this, but I think we went real deep on this. And Milford really got a point for our community. For our community, a lot of us are destroying each other or ourselves. Well, here's key. We destroy each other because we're destroying ourselves. So I probably will pick up at next Saturday. So God bless you guys. Keep announcing about anyway. Thank you very much. Oh, so you're looking for coaching counseling, you can go to our respective websites. My wife is Sit, Sip, and Chat.
No, sitchat.com.
I'm excited, and mine is drtcbrownlee.com. And we're working on another website that will bring us all together on the website. We're going to be in Vegas in September. If anyone wants us to come, you want to be out there in Vegas.
The 19th through the 23rd. So
Let
if
us know.
anyone wants to meet up with us, you guys better let us know now because
We have an area that we can have a little counseling, coaching session, meditation
Yes.
session.
yes.
So let us know, and we'll take it from there. All right, bye. Love you guys.
He said bye. He's like, okay, I need to go. Guess what?